government financial advisor blasts the Free National Movement for its position on value-added tax. Prime Minister Perry Christie admits that maybe it wasn't such a good idea to blame the former Ingram administration for the crime situation. And the Bahamas Union of Teachers revealed that they're considering involving the police on an ongoing money dispute. We've got these stories and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis sounded off during the first week of value-added tax implementation, saying that should he take office, he would repeal certain parts of it. But a financial advisor urged Dr. Minnis to be realistic in proposed changes to the tax system. James Smith, a financial analyst to the Christie administration on Monday, cautioned Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis over his promise to repeal VAT-applied categories, including utilities, children's clothing, and breadbasket items. Mr. Smith, a former central bank governor, told the Tribune that what the FNM was proposing would more than likely spark unintended consequences. He said before the FNM spoke definitively on what it would repeal, should the party win the next general election, it would be smart to analyze vigorously the new tax system. He said the FNM should refer to experts and see if what they are proposing was wise, and consider that most successful tax systems operate at best with few to no exemptions. Meanwhile, Democratic National Alliance leader Branville McCartney criticized the government over its execution of VAT implementation, saying it failed in titanic proportions. He said the week equated to a nightmare for businesses and consumers. Prime Minister Perry Christie shuffled his cabinet with the government on Sunday night, announcing 2 new ministerial appointments, including the selection of Seabreeze MP Hope Strachan as the new Minister of Financial Services. According to a statement released by the Cabinet Office, Mr. Christie also instructed Governor General Dame Marguerite Pindling to appoint Mount Moriah MP Arnold Forbes as Minister of State in the Ministry of Works and Urban Development. It was also announced that Nassau Village MP Dion Smith has been appointed as the new chairman of the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, BAIC, to replace Mr. Forbes, who previously held that post. The appointments all take effect on January 12th. This marks the first time Mr. Christie has shuffled his cabinet since assuming office in May 2012. While Mrs. Strachan said she saw the new appointment as a stride for Bahamian women, Free National Movement Chairman Michael Pintard questioned the appointment. He said given the difficulties the sector faces, having experienced downsizing and layoff of numerous employees recently, he would have expected the ministry to be put under the profile of a minister who currently deals with economic issues. More than 2 years after taking office, Prime Minister Perry Christie this week made a surprising admission about crime. Prime Minister Perry Christie has said it may have been unwise for him to blame the Free National Movement for the country's crime problem while he was in opposition. He also appeared to express some dissatisfaction with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, saying Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade and his team must understand the stake politicians have in crime reduction. Mr. Christie's comments came in the first part of a pre-taped interview with State of Affairs, which broadcast on ZNS on Monday night. This also comes after 122 murders were recorded in 2014 and 3 people were killed in the first weekend of the new year. Mr. Christie said his government is now focused on new crime-fighting strategies. However, he said he could not speak about some of them in detail. He said, quote, "But I'll tell you this, I really hope that the Commissioner of Police and his colleagues come to understand that the political directorate has a stake in what is taking place. That, just as I blame the FNM and maybe unwisely, but as I blame them, I take it that I have an obligation to the Bahamian people to provide a solution to crime because I advocated it," end quote. Bank of the Bahamas International Managing Director Paul McQueenie has given formal notice of his intent to resign from the clearing bank, according to Prime Minister Perry Christie. Mr. Christie confirmed that the bank was now searching for new leadership after Mr. McQueenie submitted his letter giving the institution 6 months' notice of his resignation. The Prime Minister provided an update on the bank during a pre-taped appearance on State of Affairs broadcast Monday night on ZNS. He said, quote, "The Managing Director, Paul McQueenie, has now given formal notice of an intention, his resignation notice. It's a 6-month notice that you give to the bank. The bank has asked Mr. McQueenie to provide a plan moving forward. The plan was just submitted last week to the Board of Directors. We are satisfied that there is a plan going forward," end quote. The Tribune had contacted Mr. McQueenie for comment on Tuesday before listening to the Prime Minister's interview broadcast the night before. However, Mr. McQueenie dismissed reports that he tendered his resignation at the clearing bank. Former Free National Movement Chairman Darren Cash has said that Paul McQueenie's impending departure from the bank will be good for the institution, but he criticized the government for allowing the managing director to linger at BOB for another 6 months. New details came to light this week regarding the Bahamas Union of Teachers and their concerns about more than $1.1 million. The Executive Committee of the Bahamas Union of Teachers has raised concerns about a serious procedure breach in which more than $1.1 million from the union's pension and savings accounts were allegedly spent in contravention of union policies. The Executive Committee has met with auditors who will perform an independent audit to determine if any offense has been committed, according to BUT Secretary General John Musgrove. The news comes as BUT President Belinda Wilson and Treasurer Lorraine Knowles wait to see if an appeals committee will uphold the Executive Committee's decision to suspend the pair for 6 and 3 months respectively in connection with alleged union infractions. The 3-member appeals committee, according to Mr. Musgrove, was expected to be appointed on Wednesday afternoon and will have until Sunday to reach a decision. A memorandum about the alleged procedure breach signed by Mr. Musgrove was leaked to the Tribune. The memo, dated December 29, 2014, revealed that serious constitutional breaches have allegedly occurred within the union. Mr. Musgrove said that the money has been taken from the accounts and spent without the AGM's approval. The reason given for this, he said, was to cover operational expenses. However, Mr. Musgrove told the Tribune, quote, "We don't really care what it was used for. Those 2 accounts were not to be touched by anybody for no reason, according to the AGM. Furthermore, wouldn't operational needs already be budgeted for?" End quote. The Executive Committee are expected to discuss calls from teachers for the matter to be turned over to the police. Auditors have been called in to determine if the funds were used for personal use. Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network, send us a tweet at Tribune242, or subscribe to our YouTube page, Tribune242.